Hello, and welcome to the Environmental Devices Corporation Device Server Setup Guide. Before we begin, make sure that the device server is connected to your computer with an Ethernet cable like this diagram. First, we need to configure the Ethernet with an IP address on the device server's subnet. The default IP of the device is 10.0.50.100, so we'll make the Ethernet IP 10.0.50.10. and change the default gateway to 10.0.50.1. Next, we'll ping the device server in the command prompt using its default IP address. If we're successful, we'll receive 4 packets of data. Now that we're connected to Ethernet and we're communicating with the device server, it's time to configure it. Open up a web browser and enter the device server IP address, 10.0.50.100, in the address bar. The default username is admin and there is no password. That provides us access to the device server configuration settings. You'll be taken to the overview page. Some of the information might look different depending on your network. Now it's time to change the default network settings by going to the main menu Network Settings link. Static IP is recommended over a DHCP. In here, put the IP address. Make sure that the subnet is outside of the DHCP assigned IP address range. The gateway is the IP address of your router. When you're done, click Save and Apply at the bottom. Now go to Wireless. Scan for networks to see available Wi-Fi networks, then select the network you want to use the device server with. Enter the correct information depending on your network settings. Click Save and Apply. Now we're just going to ping the device server to see if the settings that we put in worked. Now we have to configure the device server serial data interfaces, COM1 and COM2. Set the mode to virtual COM. Set the port to a number that isn't used or will not be used. 4660 and 4661 are usually good. And set the baud rate to 115200 bps. Leave everything else as default. If you want to access the device server COM ports from outside of the local network, you will have to port forward those ports in your router configuration settings. Do the same thing for COM2, but change the port number. It's a good idea to back up the settings in the Backup/Restore settings section. Save the file to somewhere on your computer. Finally, configure the virtual COM ports using the Serial/IP control panel software. Enter the IP address of the device server and the port number of the COM port. Make sure to pick unused COM ports. Then click Configuration Wizard and click Start. Repeat this process for each COM port. Thank you for watching. If you have any further questions, our contact information can be found on our website at www.environmentaldevices.com.